So that's why we need suitable teachers. Training is the main thing, and then only they can innovate. Teachers can also innovate in how to use this technology for my discipline, for my class. So many times the technology is there and the forum is given to the teachers, but the teachers are still in the old mindset, thinking that, there are many teachers coming to the class, switching on a smart board itself is a tough task. They don't know, and they will ask the students to switch on them. So we cannot blame them. So the universities and the education system will have to give a training, continuous training to the teachers and to the students themselves, that these are the technology, these are the different utility of this technology in your discipline, how you use it. Maybe a case study, case method. Case method can be converted into that case can be converted into a film also, and that we can use it so that the students can understand it, and after that 2-3 questions are there, students can answer, and the answers may be different. Maybe 40 students, 40 answers. We can say that which are the students, there is what is the commonality. So there are multiple ways through which you can use it. But in India we can say that lots of initiatives we are having in India, especially even in Maharashtra, all these things, when you look into it, these areas they have taken time, lots of pilot studies are happening on online education. How it is helping, what are the challenges, connectivity is a challenge, that that tool itself is a challenge, or different gadget which you are using, it is user friendly. These pilot studies are there. And based on that only they are coming with the digital infrastructure. Many universities will have to invest too much of money for that, for buying. And buying is okay, maintaining. If there is an issue, you have to spend too much of money. They will charge too much of money. They are outsourcing it, na? So they will. So there is too much of competition happening on that. And content creation is another one. I have seen some of the Sanskrit universities converted the Sanskrit all manuscripts into a digital repository. So it is easy accessible to the foreign countries also. They are using it, and they are doing lots of researches going on that. So another challenge which all of us will have to do it is the dealing with the digital divide, between the universities, between the colleges, even within the colleges. Every faculties, every students cannot able to adapt to these new technologies. So too much of inequality is happening. Suddenly the universities are recruiting faculty those who are digitally very sound. Others are losing jobs. That also happening. Even among the students, those who know technology, they are scoring very good. But there are good students, those who used to write exam earlier, writing nicely with pen and paper, they could not able to perform nicely because they may not be techno savvy. So this is also happening. So when you are integrating technology into the education sector, we will have to make sure that some baseline, equality must be there within the class. Then only we can assess it. Otherwise, assessment will not happen. And along with that, just using technology in the class, and maybe it is giving some solution convenience, the standards must be maintained. Quality of education, teaching, learning. That is also very, very important because it is digital. For example, you are converting some book into digital, so real learning is not happening. The minimum standard is not taken care of. Even the PowerPoint, I may be giving some bullet points, but I will have to give lots of examples in the class which is not there. When I am delivering. So minimum standard of content must be there. And again, another challenges of multidisciplinarity, because when you are talking about integrating technology, we have to look into all other parameters of NEP. Transdisciplinary learning must be there. Law students are also some core courses of law. They will have to learn music, they will have to learn mathematics, they can learn other courses also, and they can also take credit from other universities. So when we are benchmarking that, your curriculum, there must be some flexibility in which overall the program outcome must be there. Right? Otherwise, just giving, you will be stubborn with your own credit will not work. So you must be a little bit flexible when you are integrating technology, the university, because when you are using with a blended model of learning, and when you are training teachers to integrate technology in different disciplines, every discipline it is not possible, there are challenges, and different virtual lab is given, and we are telling the students to, because real lab is not the virtual labs through which you are learning, but at the end of the day when you evaluate, minimum standard must be there, some regulation must be there to make sure that the learning happen through this. Okay, so that is also another important point I want to now our main task is to how the implementation of this is happening, especially in Maharashtra, in this context. So what type of, in how far we successful in implementing technology integration. And also many times in many of the universities and colleges, I have done a brief study where I know that they think that implementation means using some technology in resolving admissions, evaluation and all. They don't know what is the integration of technology. So because technology use and technology integration is something different. Integrating technology means you are integrating a new technology, the entire academic, holistic system. So where there are too much of, cost and benefit is there. Benefit is there, but cost is also there. That we have to look into it. So we can say that research is going on, and as we trial and error is happening, sudden technological changes there in the implementation test. We are telling that this is better one than others. That is there, and different apps, portals. All of you may have heard about different EduTech portals which is there. Different types of labs are there which is on demand, and once the demand is increasing, they are also charging too much of money in outsourcing this to the universities and all. And another thing which I have seen that some of the universities are using this and for marketing their own courses, and they are using it at the cost of other colleges where they are having willingness. There is a capacity building, but the infrastructure is not there, budget is not there. So cost is also another important factor, and design, development and rollout of MOOCs. So this using MOOC courses, at least in Pune, I think that most of the universities are doing. In their entire credit structure, they say that minimum this many credits you will have to take from the MOOC online courses. So at least that integration is there, even Pune University. But here also the regulation. For example, LLM program, for example, we are having total this many credits. How many credits you can take it from online portal, and that also with some regulation. What are courses? The department will have to, authenticize. Otherwise, there are many online portals are there. Students will come with certificate. Whether it is 2 credit or 3 credit, we don't know. So that is also another challenge to the educational institution. Yes, NEP is telling that MOOC courses, SWAYAM portal is there. Diksha portal is there for the school level. But here also training is there. But when you are using, your students, LLM students are using that, the department will have to authenticate that. That some regulation must be there. So that is also another important thing. And now dissemination of digital contents, whatever content is there, whether it is a different case studies for the law students, how you are disseminating, either in the form of a video, either in the form of different other artificial intelligence, augmented reality type of a thing, in which you are almost like sitting in a moot court, in which somebody is, both the judge is there and all other clients are there. Whether you can make it in that. So that is also another, too much of innovation is going on that. For this, what we need is, if you want to implement the technology integration in education institutions, collaboration and resource sharing is very, very important. For example, Modern Law College with another university, both of you can share the resource and create contents for this, and both the university can use the material for their students, right? Collaboration is a very, very important thing rather than competition. But nowadays, too many competition is happening. So I just want to show you one picture in which, what are the areas in which technological integration is happening and in which areas it is not happening. For example, e-book publishers, digital curriculum providers are very less in India. Okay, whereas in Western countries, these type of technological transfer we have used it. But mostly technology integration, what is happening? Online learning apps are there in India, and test preparations like Byju's and all other things, different, they are making money. So different test, entrance test related apps are there. But all other related, management related integration like content localization, using different analytics platform to assess the teaching learning, to assess the quality, that is not happening. So we can see that mostly distribution part, technological integration is happening, but non-academic operations like PTA meetings, whether we are having any solution. Online degree enablers, which is very, very less, because even in India we feel like distance education is not valued, that is in our mind. So education financing, whether we are having any technological integrations, and digital admission and fee collection, I think some of the universities have started, but very less. So what I want to tell you is that technological, virtual reality, different type of tools, we need, the cost is an important factor possible for many of the universities, but there are enough options there. So integrating technology does not mean that just online learning apps and test preparations and reskilling and online certifications, but all other areas of management, different analytical platforms in which our principal is sitting there and entering that last year how many students came, and how many of them are completed their course, cleared the exams, how many of them paid the fees, and how they are scoring, every student, how many students are improving their scores, everything will be handled, and how many of them are paid the fees, and after completing also, out of the outgoing students, where they are working, that also will be compiled, right? So that we can create an alumni group with that, so they can come and help the new joining students. So these type of apps, this is very less. Now, this is no need of any discussion, which all of you know that. What are the different external and internal barriers and constraints in fully integrating technology in education sector is, first of all, basic infrastructure. Even in MIT World Peace University where I am, during the exam time, online exam is there in Kolkata, network is not there, electricity failure is there. Forget about, I said about the, the village where I have gone, where classroom, there is no electricity for 2-3 days, electricity is not there. So everything is fine, rosy, provided the basic infrastructure is there. And why the infrastructure is not there? Wi-Fi, after some time, if you are not paying the money for the university, this many students, then they will cut it. So it is not there. So continuously funds is required for technological advancement. That is one challenge which all of us know that. During the COVID time, Wi-Fi is there. Students are also there, but the cell phone or laptop which they are using, suddenly the device is not working. It is blackout. What will happen? It will affect the students. So this is, many times technology is not in your hands, and on the spot the teacher and student cannot do anything. They will fail, so it will affect. So that is, we are blindly imitating Western model, but we must be realistic about our situations. In that situation, what we will do? So that must be there. And another one is lack of training, inadequate training related to technology. Even the controller of examination sitting there, new things are coming, but he himself don't know. An issue comes, the IT head is not there, how to resolve it. Okay, so the training is also another one. So support system. All of you know that now many of the universities, IT sector is growing, in which lots of employees are recruited there. IT head is very powerful now. At the end of the day, CEO is coming to me, VC is coming to me and all. So we need technological support and administrative support. Many times after 5 o'clock, tomorrow exam is there, I got to set my question paper. I am asking my IT head, he said, no, come tomorrow morning. And many times we could not able to sleep because questions are not there in the portal, students are waiting. So even now, after the post-COVID also, the pen and paper exams are not happening. Many of the universities, it is very transparent for them to know that attendance issue is not there. We know that how many students logged in, we know how many students returned. We can also look into the corrupt faculty who is giving more marks. What is the answer, how much mark is given, and another moderation is very easy. No, otherwise many times there is a transparent system is coming with technology, provided you get a better support. And another one is the cultural aspects, which many times no research is talking about. Even in, so as a sociologist, I felt like even the whatever facility, madam is giving all the training, all the technology, but the teachers, those who are there, they think that मैं ऐसा ही सिखाऊंगी, मेरा यही material old book written answers ही होगा. Then what she can do? So it is not, so we will have to have a unlearning to the faculties itself in imbibing new pedagogical technologies. You know that aged people, so maybe it will be difficult, they are very experts, professors. For them, bringing changes, unlearning is not that easy. But youngsters, they must know that if I want to imbibe knowledge, because only after sharing knowledge I will be happy. My duty is to share knowledge and gain knowledge. Every teaching is learning. Okay, so that is only possible if I learn this. And just learning means going and attending, coming with certificate is not the one. Just applying it, learning and applying it, asking questions in the capacity building workshop so that it will be very clear. So that is a bigger challenge. Through the surveys, many universities they said that we are giving technology is there, app is there, different types of portal is there, but digital document, digital infrastructure is there, material is there, but the faculties are not using. And the last one, which we cannot blame anyone, is the curriculum. Many times curriculum is not in our hands, border studies, academic council and all. So we need approval if you want to integrate technology. These changes must be happening in the curriculum. Flexibility must be the diversity aspects must be there, and technology enabled learning. What type of technology based on the different topics we will have to identify, and then credit transfer is also another challenge. Which university, which area the credit transfer is allowed. That is also another one. And so same thing, technology integration in the classroom. Here all other things which I have talked about, external factors. In the classroom, we can say that student-centered education. So this is an answer because earlier slide was a question. Here this is an answer. So professional development efforts is very, very important here. So only that is possible if you are integrating the technology in instructions, mostly in instruction rather than the administrative tasks. Universities are very happy to bring technology for easing their administrative things, but not for the teachers and students, because student-centered education is very, very important. So use that technology which is good for the student. Don't give that technology which is giving more headache to students. I am seeing in classroom or in exams, normal times the students write answers and score very nicely, but because of this technological challenge, they are more nervous. Breakdowns are happening in that because sometimes network is not done, uploading is not happening, and I cannot able to read the questions sometimes. So that must not be there. So lots of visualization tools and students tracking technologies are also must be used. And for this, what we need is teachers are the one who teaching learning process. We must include them in adopting technologies. We must ask them how it is, whether it is good for you, because teachers also know students well. So they can take a decision. So here the model is TRACK, T-R-A-C-K. Training intersection of technological knowledge. They must have technical knowledge, they must learn it. And that technology, whether I can use it in my teaching pedagogy, legal education, it is different. Mechanical engineering, it is different. Philosophy, it is different. So that must be also looked into. And content knowledge. Because a person who is preparing a technology don't know your content, no. So content knowledge is also very, very important. So track may be another option through which, so for this, we need a collaborative effort. Universities, teachers must come together and they must sit together with education technology experts and also sit with the administrators to inform them this is the better technology for us, and also researchers must be there, researchers in that domain, technical domain, and then you come with an educational software, personals, then only adapt new technology, student-centered technology will be used in teaching learning. Now, another one challenge when you are looking into the NEP 20, I will just finish it. I know that all of you are busy and all of you like to wind up and the valedictory is there. So, what is the way forward for technology integrations as per the NEP 2020, now 2023? So, we will have to look into it. So, main challenge is equitable use of technology, students from rural background, those who don't have enough devices. So, resource sharing is the good option, because even universities, NEP is telling that resource sharing. So, you are having a technology, you are having a content, the other people must get that benefit, and collaborating with many universities, many departments, and the rural area one college is there, and as a mentor, some college here can help them in giving technology, in giving information, giving materials, and so digital infrastructure creation is only possible through collaboration. Through collaboration, everybody will get the benefit. So even teachers, technical training to the teachers, even we can give technical training to the teachers from the rural area, and whatever materials we have created, we can share it with others, so that equitable use of technology will be there. And second one is data protection, which I already said to all of you. Many times too much of data is created right from I'm punching. At what time managing data then came to the college. And monitoring, too much of monitoring is there. And every time when I'm entering to the class, different portal I'm going, TCS Ion, Code Tatra and all. And data is created. And my name is there. And many times, many places or password is there. And information is there. I am telling that tomorrow I am not coming because of some reasons. In the HR portal we are writing. When I am here, I am writing. I am on official duty. So that information is there. But whether the data is protected, who is responsible for protecting the data? The university or the state? So that is also another challenge which we'll have to come with the regulation for the data protection. Your own partners, industry partners must take into that. And another one, as I said, technology use and integration is Different integration means it is a very complex phenomena. Students must be also part of it, teachers are also part of it. Different factors are involved. Your books, because law books are different, so converting into a digitalization is not easy. So the tools, techniques, skills, whatever skills you are looking for in your teaching learning, lawyers, what skills you must imbibe will be different. Interpretations, argumentations, whereas the mechanical engineers is different. So all of them you will have to look into it, and then only we have to come with the integrating the technology. It is not like we are just using the smart board and we are having technology use, it will not work. So this is what I just give up in a graphical way. I am not reading that lot. So here, external variables are the many outside things are also affecting your university, because the traffic jam is there, students, teachers could not able to come. So all other things you have to look into it. What technology you are using it, perceived usefulness, how it is useful for you. For example, physically you could not able to come here, whether you can log in for the exam and write exam from wherever you are, or you have to come here. So that you have to look into it. And ease of use, whether that is easy to use, because password, they will be asking for password, they will be asking for many other things to get access to it, that is there. And what is your attitude? If you are not techno-savvy, they say that, no, I don't want this digital one. I've read, many of my teachers are telling that, I'm very happy, very easy question paper answer. I don't want to log in, then double check, too many process to get access to the question paper. Question paper must be prepared. So that is there. And intention to use. Why we are using? Sometimes many students and teachers thinking that it is a punishment. But if you see that this is good one, in which the data is there and transparency is there, then only. So all these things you have to keep it in mind when you are integrating technology. Just coming with some technology which is giving you more trouble rather than benefiting teaching learning process will not work. So that you will have to look into it. And the next one is, as I said, track one, technological knowledge must be there. Teachers or administrators, those who are using it, TCS, what are the different options, attendance, leave, and students' classrooms, what are courses you are doing. All other things must be informed to you, then only you use it. Informed choice. Second one, content knowledge. You must have the content, what all things are there in that window, in that app. So that is also there. And third one is pedagogical content knowledge. So whether you are using case study, whether you are using visual reality, augmented reality, virtual labs, simulation, so that you must know accordingly you have to use it. And technological pedagogical knowledge. So what is meaning of pedagogy? It is not only teaching learning in the class, the entire ecosystem. Campus ecosystem is a part of pedagogy. It is not only that you are learning from the class. So that knowledge must also be there to decide. So these are the different challenges which I am looking into it in 2023 when you are integrating technology. And some of them we have already discussed, but let us make it. So pedagogical aspect of education technology adoptions are only in India, mostly looking into we think that it is a MOOC courses. SWAYAM portal is there. But that is not only enough. We need new strategy with the help of NEFT and different methods of technological integration is there. So many universities, yes, we are having new courses, we are having SWAYAM, our teachers have got training in SWAYAM. That is not enough. Every course specific, discipline specific, college specific, university specific, because we are the one who is using. So what is the utility and how easy it is in using must be understood. And digital competence among the teachers are also very, very important. But I think that new generation teachers are well equipped and new generation students are also well equipped in all these things. And third challenge is like when we are shifting integrating technology, sudden documents and resources will not be there. So unavailability of open resources in different areas is also another challenge, because if the resource is not there, we cannot integrate. We need different resources, digital resource availability. So converting our curriculum into different resources itself is a challenge. Too much of work needs to be done. And online assessment scales. How we are assessing online? It is not like classroom assessment. It is not like pen and paper assessment. The assessment must also be different. It is not like essay type questions will not work in online. You need different type of assessment tools you will have to create so that you can assess the best student. Not only assessing the students, faculty appraisal. To assess who is the best performer, we'll have to, because when we are using it through the digital platform, online, then you need a metrics, different type of metrics and data must be created so that there will be a metrics number will come, those who get more than 5, this is the, so that type of, that must also be created, generated. And another one is, some of the disciplines, as I rightly said, that integrating technology will be very difficult. Psychology or history, many times, even the history also there is some new apps are coming. So some of the disciplines and even law. How do you think that integrating technology is beneficial for all of you, or not? How do you think that lots of apps are coming? Legal research, lots of apps are there. As a teacher, I used to use lots of apps in which my preparation for the class, my preparation for the evaluation is very easy. When you go to the law firms also, these apps are going to help you. But learning from the books, that makes a difference. You will be vibing it. But that is also there. Many of them are also telling that there are challenges also. Overall looking will not be there. You are only looking into that focus. Other areas you will be missing out. So that is also there. So I will just conclude with this 3E model. If you want to effectively integrate ICT, the first one is, the teacher, student and management, they have to come together and they will have to, make sure that all of them are the partners in learning process. They will have to encourage in using the ICTs. So the teacher is telling that no need to go through that. Many teachers are discouraging to use technology, but teachers must encourage students, encourage staff, encourage management to imbibe or integrate. Integrate means you can integrate so that when something new is coming, there is a rearrangement in the system and you must be prepared for that change. Okay, so that is one. Second one is enforce. Sometimes, just encouraging will not work. You have to, along with encouraging, you have to enforce that, you have to integrate these three. Third one is enhance. It means you have to adopt, you have to buy those technology, keeping in mind of cost, keeping in mind of quality, keeping in mind of utility. So these three things you will have to look into it. And also you will have to look, I am not going into details of the company. There are many companies are there, technologies are there. There is a competition among all of them. Everybody is looking into the market, education market, which one to take and all is very, very tough. But they are doing lots of research and lots of material, lots of different apps and products are available on the market. But as a university, when you are integrating this, make sure that whether it is sustainable. Continuously we have to pay this much money for them, or one time use, or every time if problem is that we have to go after them and they will be charging too much. So that we will have to look into it. So sustaining the technology, whatever we are using, is also very, very important. And I just conclude with the basic things. It is not a big theorems which we are talking about. It is about ourselves only. And the teachers are the main heart of any university. So what we will have to look into it. They must be ready to adopt this educational technology, and so what we will have to do, teachers are the one who is really integrating technology into the teaching learning process. So what is their needs, what is their background, and what is their inclinations and their aspirations. So the universities must know the faculties first, and based on that they come with their own idea of adopting, integrating this technology, and encourage them and enforce them and enhance those faculties so that the teaching learning will be very good experiences. And here also we have to delegate the authority. Everything we cannot put in the teacher's head. Right from admission to the teaching to the evaluation to the placement, everything is coming to the teachers. So that then we will have to delegate the authority in technology integration. We need cooperation from different departments, different sectors, and also cooperation from industry stakeholders, that any problem is there, we are the one partners for your university. All of you know that ICICI is supported by BYJU'S, and many of the companies are supporting different educational institutions. MIT, now from where I am coming, TCS is supporting us in integrating, in advancing new technology in teaching learning process. And also along with that, university administrative committees must also be integrating in this process, like whether whatever collaboration we have, whether it is good for us and real teaching learning is there. And at the end of I can say that let us hope NETF will be adopting a new into their industry-led best practices for all our institutions, because all institutions are equal. And whatever material is there out there, open resources are available to us also. So it will be beneficial to all of us. So constant research, and I request all of you, there is something called RIDE, research, innovations, and development and entrepreneurships. So all of you can be a good entrepreneur if you come with that. There is a problem in teaching learning, you identify the problem, you discuss with the computer engineers, come with a solution, and come with a new startup. It will be helping the entire legal education. So all of you can be an innovators, and all the best to all of you. With this, I am concluding the session. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you for and enthusiasm. We truly admire all the points touched by you. It is a matter of proud privilege that respected principal Dr. Sunita Arab ma'am has joined the occasion, and I am delighted to welcome you, ma'am. As it is rightly said, the depth of the sea can only be fathomed by diving deep into the sea or by sitting beside a person who has tested the endeavor and has succeeded in it. It was indeed very thought-provoking to listen to Dr. Vanishri Ramanathan ma'am to express our gratitude for her valuable guidance. I request Principal ma'am to offer memento to Dr. Ramanathan as a token of regards and remembrance. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And we feel extremely obliged to listen to all the eminent speakers who delivered in the areas of National Education Policy 2020. I am sure all these valuable insights during the workshop will definitely pave the right way to facilitate the functioning of the policy. All the good things are destined to end in this ephemeral world. As we come to the close of this valedictory session, I invite the convener of this workshop, Ms. Aditi Mishra, to propose the formal vote of thanks.